So this past weekend, I was on my Thanksgiving break and I went and visited my daughter with my two sons. And we pulled into some record shops in the city of North Bay, Ontario. So, what did I find? Well, stay tuned. We'll see you on the flip side.
Up in the north, where the vinyl spin, there's a guy with a passion. Let the stories begin. Northern vinyl guy with a tale to tell, obscure and rare, he knows them well. Drop the needle, let the music fly. Discover hidden gems with Northern Vinyl Guy.
Hello, everyone. Daryl, the Northern Vinyl Guy, with a recent finds video. And I got to pick up a few records while I was out, as I mentioned, for my Thanksgiving break. Stopped by three different record locations in the city of North Bay. So what did I pick up? Well, we're going to take a look at that here in just a few minutes. As always, if you are new to my channel, please give me a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button and leave some comments down in the section below. If you are a returning viewer, always happy to have you on board. Just let me know. What did you think of these recent finds? Were they good? Would you pick them up? And yeah, without further ado, here we go. Shop number one that I went to in North Bay was a place called Autumn Records. I will try to find the logo and the location there, but it is on Main Street in North Bay. So they did have some decent prices. Some of them were I think, a little bit high, but then the rest were really good. And I did kind of find an almost, I don't want to call it a grail, but something that I've been wanting for quite some time that I haven't really seen in the wild. So here we go. So I did get 4 or 5 records from the $5 bin. So many of you know that I am definitely an Elton John fan. Like Elton John, especially his 80s stuff. So this was out of the $5 bin, Elton John's Breaking Hearts. This is the one that has Sad Songs, Say So Much. So was happy to pick this up for $5. Next one, I guess one-hit wonder of the 1980s. Heartthrob would be Dan Hartman and the I Can Dream About You album. Of course, this one is going to be known for the title track, I Can Dream About You. And this was a for promotion only copy with the gold stamp there on the back. Another $5 one, and it is in pristine condition. Don't think the person who owned it before played it all too often. Speaking of one-hit wonders, this one here in North America was definitely a one-hit wonder. Katrina and the Waves. And this one here is a self-titled album, but this is the one that has Walking on Sunshine on it. Good old, reminds me of going to the beach song. But nonetheless, a really good album by, once again, Katrina and the Waves. $5. And my last $5 purchase from the $5 bin at Autumn Records was kind of inspired by Rob at Northern Revolutions. He's a huge Bryan Adams fan. From our Wednesday night show. Joe, not so much, from Racer Records or On a Vinyl. But I did manage to pick up the Into the Fire album. What year is this? From 1987. Bryan Adams. Heat of the Night is on this. Into the Fire, Victim of Love, Remembrance Day, Hearts on Fire. This one was loaded with hits, but oddly enough, it's probably one of the least known 80s albums, other than maybe his self-titled one from the early 80s. Give this one a go, though. If you haven't checked out some of the tracks that I just mentioned from this, Into the Fire is a great album, and I think it was a steal of a deal at $5. Now, last but not least, like I said, this is kind of a grail, or at least something that I was uh, trying to find for the last little while. Um, just never seen it in the wild. Um, 1990s, I used to have this on CD. For me, pretty much a near perfect album in the probably alternative uh, genre of music, and that is Tonic's Lemon Parade album. If you are not familiar with Tonic and the Lemon Parade album, there was a song on here called If I Could Only See, or If You Could Only See, I should say, which was, I don't want to call it a one-hit wonder, but I suppose might be a one-hit wonder album. I just like the look and the aesthetic of this, that old, 1800s look. But this to me is a near perfect album. Soldier's Daughter, really good song. Lemon Parade, which is the title track. Wicked Soldier, Mr. Golden Deal. All fantastic tracks, and I am happy to add this one to the collection. Never thought I would see this one, and it was a really good price. So that was Autumn Records on Main Street in North Bay. And then after Autumn Records, you just follow it, and there is a Value Village that is there. Of course, Value Village is typically hit and miss. In fact, I would say more miss than not. You usually get those country records, those old school classical records. Not to say that those aren't good, they're just not my thing. However, I did manage to pick up 5 albums that while I was there. And some of them I was a little surprised by, especially the last one that I'm going to talk about. The last one I already have a copy that I was given through some VCLT, Peter at Music is a Journey. We'll get to that in just a second. But, most of these kind of, I would say blind buys in the sense that I know who the artists are, but I'm not familiar necessarily with the specific albums themselves. Now, this one here is a complete blind buy. Read about it, and apparently they did have one minor hit here in North America. I believe it's called Red Lipstick, but this is the band Nomo and the Great Unknown album. Also a gold promo stamp one. But from everything that I read, I wouldn't say that they're boy bandish, but probably fit into that, soft rock / maybe synth music of the 1980s. So Nomo, like I said, reading about it, Red Lipstick, one-hit wonder band, minor hit here in North America. So a blind buy. I will let everybody know in the future what I thought of that album, but I mean, a couple bucks, can't go wrong. Now, a big name artist, but a lesser known album. Definitely known for the Top Gun soundtrack, definitely known for that yacht rock music. Of course, that is Kenny Loggins. I am not familiar with this particular album, 1977. Celebrate Me Home. Let me know your thoughts. Do you know any of the songs on this particular album? I mean, for a couple of bucks, I can't go wrong with Kenny Loggins. Not everybody's into that yacht soft rock music, but yeah, produced by Phil Ramone and Bob James. Hopefully this one is a decent album. Up next, another famous singer, especially from the 60s and the 70s. Of course, that is Neil Diamond, and this is I believe it's a follow-up. It's got a very similar look to the Taproots, I think it was called Taproots album. And this one here is Moods, best known for the song Sung Blue, which is a great slow song by Neil Diamond. But other than that, I'm not familiar with too much of the rest of this album. Looking forward to listening to this one. So Sung Blue off the Moods album. Once again, this one's in really good condition. At first, I actually thought that this was tape somebody had taped the spine together, but no, it's just the aesthetic that is on there. So Neil Diamond, Song Sung Blue. All right, got a couple of other albums here. This one, Chris, the Vinyl Man, Chris Mann, he likes his greatest hits albums. And so in this case, found Roxy Music's greatest hits. Virginia Plain, Do the Strand, All I Want Is You, Out of the Blue, Pajama Rama, Editions of You, and then on side 2, Love is the Drug, Mother of Pearl, A Song for Europe, The Thrill of It All, and Street Life. And this one here, other than the fact that the record is kind of falling apart, the cover, I'll just need to get some double-sided tape to fix it up. But the record itself is in pretty decent condition. So once again, for $2, I couldn't go wrong with this. All right, now, last but not least, from Value Village, I was definitely surprised to see this one. It's an embossed copy of this, and it is a Canadian press. But I do have the Japanese press of this. As I mentioned, Peter at Music is a Journey sent this to me a while back in VCLT. I've got the Obi strip with it and everything. Scottish band, Big Country. Like I said, this one's embossed. Really cool feel to it. It's taken me a little bit to get into this band, but yeah, this album is stellar. Normally I don't buy duplicates and stuff like that of records that I already own, but for $2 and the record is in really good condition, I couldn't help but get Big Country's The Crossing at Value Village. So that is what I found. The rest of the stuff that was there, I mean, it's like I said, it's your typical country music, really poor shape, your Nana Muscouris and stuff like that. But these were some that I thought were of interest to me. And last but not least, I shouldn't say that the first store that I went to was Autumn Records. In fact, the first store that I went to was in the North Bay Mall, and it was Sunrise Records. We all know what the department stores and the chain stores are like, hit and miss with the prices, but this one here was a really decent price. So the manager at the store was like, we've got records on the wall and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll take a look at the records that are on the wall. Most of them were box sets. Speaking of which, this one was a box set and it was like $200. And I was like, man, I just cannot justify that. And he was like, I'll give you a good deal on it. And I'm like, even if you give me a good deal, it's going to be way out of my price range. Do you have just the album that this box set is known for? And he was like, well, I think we're all out, but I will double check. And so he was flipping through, and sure enough, he found 2 copies of this. One of them was on orange vinyl, and the other one was just a regular black vinyl. Both were the same price, and I thought that it was a really decent price. This is definitely on my grails from this year, and that is Van Halen's Balance album, and this one here is on orange vinyl. This one here is a gatefold. Had this on CD when I was in high school. Loved this album. Once again, I know not everybody is a fan of the Sammy Hagar universe of Van Halen, but for me, I don't mind it. And normally I don't show the records themselves. Of course, it's on a Van Halen label, but it is, like I said, it's a 2-disc set, and I think it is a nice transparent orange record. So yeah, those are my vinyl finds plus brand new buys. So let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts? Did you like any of these albums that I bought? Were they worth the $5? Were they worth the $2? Were they steals at Value Village? And let me know your thoughts about the Sammy Hagar universe of Van Halen. What are your thoughts about the Balance album? All right, so there we go. Recent vinyl finds and vinyl buys. Until next time, take care everyone, and we will see you on the next video.